a school administrator.
Okay.
You don't have yes, you have just maybe the principal taking charge of the college and the head teacher in charge of the primary and preschool. How do you go about the evaluation or the performance management? What do you suggest?
Okay, it means that the principal and the head teacher will have to take on the HR role. And I recommend that to small schools because it's not always cost effective to have too many positions. Of course, salaries are recurring expenses, So it means that the head of school and the principal will have to be trained to perform that role. So some of those goals that you'll be setting for the school administrator will also have to be split between the head teacher and the principal.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So any other questions? Funke, thank you for joining. Do you have questions? Blessing, Amanda.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, Nancy, this is Jane Luxmore. Thank you so much. It's been really enlightening. Really enjoyed it. I just wanted to ask you, do you recommend with these appraisals, with these evaluations, that at the end of a session there is a link with a salary increment or anything like that?
Oh yes, you remember one of the things that a proper performance management system would do is to recognize those who are actually outstanding, and if they are outstanding, something needs to be done to encourage them. And yes, a salary increase may be one of the things to do. But for some people, incidentally, they may just like a new position. You have to understand the staff that you work with, and know what actually motivates them. But I must tell you, in Nigeria, every teacher likes salary increase. So let me
Yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah, with the rate of inflation and everything going on, a little thing to just tell them, thank you, you did excellently, you're outstanding. That would go a long way to boost their morale. Yes.
Yeah.
But for some people, for some, they might want a promotion, or my last job was with a multinational. The school I left last to start consulting was actually in a multinational. So it was actually very structured, and it was very easy to say, okay, yes, you can be put into the succession plan. If you do this, we can start grooming you for this leadership role or for this, that. So for smaller schools, that might not be too easy to achieve, but it is still doable. But what I'd recommend is at least a little thing, maybe it could be a cash gift, a little increase in their salary, or some schools give certificates of recognition and make it public, and then attach a little cash gift to it if they cannot afford to increase salaries. Because remember, once you increase salaries, it's a recurring expense, but a one-off appreciation works for some schools, especially when they are smaller and maybe struggling with finances. I would not recommend that they increase salaries, because once you do that, you have to keep paying the salary. So for some, they give a one-off award and maybe a certificate, have like an award, a recognition assembly where staff members are called out and told about what they've done and what. But you have to be sure that it's very fair, because it also breeds a lot of in-house problems. if it's too political.
Yes.
It has its own challenges. So others might feel, you think, you mean I worked for a whole school year and you're saying I did nothing? These were the only people who worked. So you have to make sure whatever it says is fair and it's obvious to everybody. That's why record keeping is very important. So I have a problem with schools who just pick a staff member that is very liked and then award the person. It has to be obvious that this staff has gone beyond, the call of duty and has done so much and just deserves this recognition. And even others would know. Even if they envy the person, it's obvious that the facts are there and it's clear to everybody that this staff actually deserves to be rewarded. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks.
I also worked in a school where such staff members were sent to the ASA conference. So the ones who were outstanding for this school year, maybe the next year's ASA conference, they are sent there, maybe to Kenya to attend a conference or to Johannesburg or something. It all depends on how much the school can afford.
Great, thank you.
I enjoyed one of such trips when I was an employee. And I still feel good about it now that I remember it. Okay, so Blessing, you haven't said anything. Blessing. Florence.
I have, ma'am. I was one that asked the question about not having a school administrator in the school.
Okay. Is that the situation in your school now?
Yes.
Yes, it doesn't, these names of titles could be a bit confusing. Sometimes it's just the role the person plays that matters, what responsibilities are assigned to him. If you do not have an administrator, and that's fine, it means someone has to be there to coordinate the activities of the school, because that's basically what an administrator does. The administrator puts all the pieces together and does a lot of communication so that, the interdepartmental clashes are less, there's a flow of process and activities, So nobody's saying, I need to use this room, and another person is saying, no, it was my class, I was meant to be there. The administrator coordinates everything and makes sure there's a smooth flow. So if the principal can do that, why not? And if it's a small school that cannot afford to have an administrator over everybody, then it means the role that the administrator should be playing can actually be split amongst those top leadership members, until the school grows enough to employ maybe a professional administrator. Who hasn't said anything? Funke, have you said anything? No. Okay, Taiwo. Hello. We have more questions.
Hello, madam. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
I think I will just commend you for a job well done.
Oh,
this was just a lifesaver for me.
okay.
I'm actually an acting provost of a college. It's a tertiary institution.
Wow.
And lately, I've been having a couple of challenges with staff.
Okay.
Telling them what to do, especially because most of them are professionals in their field. They are lecturers, so we call them. They are professionals. Some are community health workers. Some are dental therapists. So we employed them as tutors. So explaining the educational aspect of the profession to them and making sure they perform well has been some sort of challenges or challenging thing for me.
Okay.
So with this, I think I have a lot to get done without having to say much.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I would say, well done.
Thank you.
Done. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Actually, let me tell you how I started studying about performance management. I'm not a very loud person. And usually I've had to handle large teams. On my last job, there were over 130 something staff, apart from the ones I had to liaise with in other departments in the multinational. And I found that, I just was able to get people to get their jobs done. And the board couldn't understand what it was I was doing. It was then I realized, all of the things I've been learning about about performance management, I could put them all into templates for every cadre of staff and do this and do that. And before we knew it, we just saw that people were lining up and doing their jobs, because everybody knew they'd be evaluated. And we made sure it was a very fair system where nobody's going to say, no, she victimized me, or, she's using the power of being the boss and, threatening us. It was just a smooth flow. I first started by disabusing their minds of what performance management really is. That was how I started with the staff. That this is not professional management, doesn't mean witch hunting other people and to catch them in their poor moments and then record that. No, we are here first to grow the organization. So we started by introducing the vision of the organization and where we were heading. I had my strategic plan for the organization, which I'd been sharing with my heads of schools, and they already understood where we're heading. And then I now took it beyond that to the employees. This is the picture. This is what we're meant to do. We even had slogans for some of those goals. We tell them something like P's, the 5 P's. Everybody say, yeah, the P's, the P's. Indirectly, I was just indoctrinating people and getting them to get some things done. So we had like P, like for profitability. We're not here for just play. We're here for profitability. So we'll remind one another. When anybody did anything wrong, we say, well, which of the P's do you think that you did wrong? And they say profitability. That means we're doing things that are working against profitability by wasting. Because they would normally come to tell me that they wanted salary increase, they wanted this, and I'll tell them, well, we were not very profitable. How was I going to recommend to the board to increase salaries? So it meant all of us had to work towards it. So if I'm working to see how the organization goes and you're busy wasting, you're doing a PhD program and you come in and print with all the organization's paper, and then you expect that we are profitable at the end of the day, then we're deceiving ourselves. So everybody began to understand what it was that we were trying to do. It was a process. And before we knew it, they really understood that yes, nobody's being victimized. This is just a situation. Any report you get on you has facts and documents attached to it. And if you were going to actually contest any reports from your line manager, you should also be backed with your own documents and facts. So everybody started keeping record, and that encouraged us to keep good records of what people were doing. Because if we are going to recommend you, it means that also as the administrator will have to have documented evidence over time to say, yes, this person has been consistent. So if I'm saying you're outstanding in this area, I must have everything to prove it. What have you done? What have you achieved? What have you done that others didn't do? What recommendations did you make? What projects did you initiate on your position? All of this will be. So I encourage people so that your line manager doesn't steal your ideas, because they will also be evaluated. I'll tell you, if you're making recommendations to your line manager, then please copy the administrator. I should know about it. And don't just go verbally alone to say, oh, I think we should do this. Learn to send mails so that there's a line of communication that can be traced. Because another practice is that because everybody's going to be evaluated and there's a reward attached to it, you see that people will now want to steal other people's ideas in a bid to have recommendations to the administrator or to the board. So I'll tell people, it's not like you're hiding your idea, you're going to share it, but in sharing it, please copy the right people in so that we know where this idea originated from and nobody comes to play on you, even though we are a team. Yeah.
Good. That's well understood.
Yeah, so any other questions?
Yes, please. I have a question.
Okay.
All right. Well done, Ma. I really learned a lot from this training. Well done, Ma. So mine is like, let me say a question or a complaint.
Okay.
Before now, my school, we don't observe teachers. Like, we don't do a proper follow-up. What we do is after the section, we check the goal. Has this teacher been able to accomplish this goal? And at the end of it, we found out that there are many things that should have been in order or put in place that were not put in place. So because of this, the proprietress of my school chose like 3 people to head each section of the school. And I'm a teacher, and I was pulled out as one of the HOS, that is head of sector, yes, to observe other teachers and correct them. But due to this, come and observe me, a fellow teacher it's somehow difficult compelling them to do their work. So I don't know. I need advice. What do you think I can do to improve the productivity of this teacher? Because when you even correct some and they tell you, when did you join us? While so things like that. Please, ma, I don't know. Is there any professional advice or something?
Okay, first, you said at the end of the term you evaluate them, but it's not documented.
Yes, please.
So what the gap I think I have spotted there is that at the beginning, the criteria for evaluating them was not made known to them. Did you actually sit with them to set the goal?
Before now, but recently we've documented everything, and we have a form that teachers we fill while observing teachers. We just started the proper documentation. Before now, we do just verbal observation.
No, I'm not just talking about the observation. Before the observation, something else has to be in place, which is that they must
yes, we've put that
parameters that we are going to use in evaluating them. So do they understand the parameters before the observation starts?
Yes, please. Yes, they do.
Okay. Oh, okay, in that case, maybe you might also want to look at your approach to them in correct. You know, people don't like to be corrected. Maybe what you could start first by to do is to find out areas they are doing very well and start talking about those areas they're doing well to gain their confidence, because they're going to form a wall of defense against you if all you're doing is picking out areas where they need to improve. So start by, commending them on areas that they are doing very well. You might just want to keep quiet about the faults for a little while, not for too long though, and then just focus on the areas they are doing well. So that it registers to them that at least there are some areas they are doing very well. And then gradually you can start introducing the areas where they need to improve on. Try that approach and see how it works.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay, any other questions? Benedict has not said anything.
Okay, good evening, Ms. Nancy.
Good evening.
My background is a bit noisy.
Yes,
I want to appreciate you. I want to appreciate you for a job well done.
Thank you.
I think what the previous colleague was pointing at was moving from classroom to school leadership.
Oh, she actually used to be a teacher.
Yes, that was yes. Oh, she was moving from classroom to school leadership.
I must tell you the truth, it's always very challenging to rise to leadership in the same organization where you've been colleagues with everybody. You might want to read my book, The School Administrator's Companion, because I shared tips there on transitioning from being the colleague to being the manager, okay? So you might want to get a copy of that book. It will be very, very helpful to you on that position. But basically, there are things you need to do to establish your authority without necessarily coming on too hard. Because first, there will be envy for your colleagues, seeing that you have risen from being a colleague to being their boss. It's not something they're going to accept just like that. And a lot of times they're going to think it's favoritism that got you there, or maybe you don't even deserve it, or maybe this, or maybe should have been them. So you might see people who might want to form their little cliques against you, and you have to be very tactful and also understand how office politics work, because sometimes it might not be like you're introducing any wrong thing or doing anything wrong particularly. It might just be that there's some kind of office politics at work against you in that position. So you need to understand office politics as well to know how to navigate things with them. Okay. So your interpersonal skills will come into play there, and how smart you play around those things while maintaining your integrity and professionalism.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay, so I think we can take 2 more questions and comments.
Okay. Hello, Nancy.
Yes, please.
Yes, thank you for your time. Thank you for the information. It's really helpful.
Okay.
And very timely for me as well.
Wow.
Though I wish we had this before the school resumed.
I've actually been in Abuja consulting for a school. So it's now that I have a little free time to do 1 or 2
Time. Okay, that's good. Okay, so I have a question or a comment. One is, I think some people doing this appraisal and assessment, they let everybody see where everybody is, but it's like, so when I say that maybe staff A is doing better than staff C, it's not as if it's favoritism. They see the progression. Is that advisable? Maybe like midterm, they see where everybody is. There is a board that summarizes everything. So it's like just for the staff, for the teachers' information. So they know where everybody is, and it's like they know it's not witch hunting or doing anything. Is that advisable?
No, I don't think that appraisal reports should be made public.
Okay.
In the organizations we have worked, it's always between the line manager and the staff concerned, and the school administrator, and maybe the board if there are some things they need to know, because people may actually be embarrassed to see areas even though their colleagues will know that they have this gap in 1 or 2 areas. But I think it's better to handle such things confidentially, and have reports, have things. But if performance is something everybody else will be seeing, if they are
yes.
But I don't think it's nice to publish the results public. I've never done that.
But it's not the detail. I don't think it's the full detail. Well, I understand what you're saying, and I think I agree with you.
Out of the 5 where you are, maybe
yes,
you're rating at 3. I'm not sure that I've never used that approach, so let me not say what I haven't tried.
I've not used it as well, but I just wanted to ask, what are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I have my reservation about that. I think that might, I don't know how to put it. No, I've just never tried it. Maybe I just feel it might not go well for the staff. They will want confidence.
It won't, especially for those that are not doing too well.
Yeah, it might actually not work too well. I don't think that would, I haven't tried it, so I wouldn't say, but I don't recommend that. Maybe it's something I've tried, and if it has worked, then I could say yes. I like to teach what I have tried. Like the templates all were created by me, and I've tested and tried them. That's why I can present to others. But I really have never done public, whatever about people's performance ratings. I always feel that it's something confidential and should be just between the line manager.
It should be.
Yes. And the HR or school administrator, whoever it is that oversees that aspect of the school.
Okay, then do you help with recruitment? I think I need an administrator.
I do that a lot, yes.
Okay,
I have interviews on Monday in Abuja here. I'm actually in Abuja.
Okay.
I reside in Lagos, but I'm in Abuja at the moment, and I'll be rounding up with the school soon. I actually handled everything about their startup, putting their policies, performance management, recruitment, everything, setting up the structure. So I'm done now, and school has resumed, and we've started having enrollment. So I need to fly back to Lagos.
Okay then. So I'll still get in touch with you on that, please. I need an administrator.
No problem. So where is your school located?
Abuja.
Oh, really? I didn't know you were in Abuja.
Yes.
I'm in Abuja, but I reside in Lagos.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So this is going to be monthly. Every
Okay.
month I'll choose a topic that I've noticed, because in the course of consulting, I've come to see a lot of areas that schools have issues with. So I've noted them and I've decided to create either courses around those areas or to have webinars or whatever. Unfortunately, today didn't go too well. I didn't quite record this from the beginning because of all the things that happened when the rainstorm started. So I think I'm just going to record my voice over this slide so that those who are requesting, I'm already getting people asking me about the replays. So I'll
Yes.
record something so that I have something on my website they can pay and get access to.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. I
guess we can call it a day, or does anyone
Yes, we can. Yes.
Thank you so much. And once more, sorry again. Don't worry, the next webinar next month will not be like that. Next month, I intend to take team training and team building, how I was able to build teams and make them perform. So I'll be touching on team building from a very unique angle, either team building or customer service. So either of those two. But watch out for the announcements, and please, I would like to have you again. Thank you. It's been nice hanging out with you this evening, and I've had a really great time. And I think almost everybody that registered was here, apart from 3 that asked to be away because they had their meetings in church or something. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to having you next month. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
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 Yeah.